Welcome to Life by Design, your life by design. And this is where we help you make change happen. The change you've always wanted, we help you make that change happen. This is the third week of our innovation series, and in this episode we'll bring in you short videos of the 6 shortlisted young innovation entries that we've had. We'll also be bringing you the segment of our partner in the series, the UNDP Accelerator Lab, and we'll continue the story of our star innovator, Franklyn Koroma, by courtesy of SOS Children's Villages. But first, we start this week's broadcast with the continuation of our inspiring stories of inventors, black inventors of history past. And today, we'll be bringing you the stories of Marian Crook, Lisa Gilopta, and Philip Emegwali. Take a watch.
Marian R. Crook. In 2013, Marian Crook was inducted into Women in Technology International's Hall of Fame, a move that recognizes her remarkable achievements in technology. Marian Crook holds over 135 patents, primarily in voice over internet protocol, some in other areas. She has another 100 patents currently under review. Today, Marian Crook is an SVP at AT&T, serves as a mentor for women in AT&T Labs, and sits on the board of the Holocaust, Genocide, and Human Rights Education Center. Lisa Gilopta. If you ever enjoyed an animated GIF on the internet, then you need to say thank you to Lisa Gilopta. Lisa Gilopta was integrally involved with the advent of shockwave, a technology that formed the beginning of web animation. She also played a major role in the emergence of online video, later serving on the senior management team at Hulu. Previously, Lisa was the interim head of digital for BET Networks and ran technology product and business operations. Today, you can catch Lisa Gilopta at the White House in the United States Digital Service. She is currently serving as the Chief Digital Service Officer with the U.S. Department of Education. Philip Emegwali. Due to cost, Philip Emegwali was forced to drop out of school at the age of 14. Nigerian Philip Emegwali did not stop becoming one of the greatest computer pioneers of our time. In fact, he is often called the Bill Gates of Africa. As an adult, Philip Emegwali began studying nature, specifically bees. The construction of the honeycomb inspired him to rethink computer processing. In 1989, Philip Emegwali put this idea to work, using 65,000 processors to invent the world's first supercomputer that is able to perform 3.1 billion calculations per second. Kudos to Philip Emegwali. Fresh air, clean environment, great atmosphere. D&S Fastmart, we have the most competitive prices, the place for quality and trusted grocery brands, well-stocked shelves with top-of-the-range wine and spirits, chill drinks and snacks, toiletries, and even lubricants for your vehicles. At D&S Fastmart, all payment systems are available. D&S Fastmart, the right choice for the enlightened shopper. D&S Fastmart, Total Petrol Station, Brookfield. We've got the tick.
Speed-up and scale-up development in Sierra Leone, Agenda 2030. Development challenges are fast evolving every day. We need an equally sophisticated range of development solutions to tackle complex problems and make faster progress to achieving the SDGs by 2030.
That is why UNDP has established the UNDP Accelerator Lab in Sierra Leone to try and find out breakthrough processes and approaches to addressing the developmental challenges that we are battling with on ground.
Linking social innovation with development expertise to scale local innovation using simple suite of techniques. Sense making, collective intelligence, solutions mapping, and experimentation.
It all starts with what solutions are out there. UNDP is building a portfolio of local solutions that solves problems within our communities. If you are an innovator or have found a better way of solving community problems, dial 2030, our toll-free line on both Orange and AfriCell to register your solution.
And finally, we believe the most effective way to scale these local solutions is through strategic partnerships. And for UNDP's Accelerator Lab, our ecosystem for collaboration involves the government, civil society, the private sector, academia, other development partners, and most importantly, the communities themselves.
We believe innovation can accelerate the eradication of poverty in all its forms. It has done so in many other countries, and Sierra Leone will be no different. To partner with us, contact us at United Nations Development Programme Country Office, Frabay Close off Main Motor Road, Wilberforce, or email us on aclabs.sr@undp.org.
When I got the call and I saw Franklyn's prototype, I was like, okay, we're entering into technology in a grand style. So the moment I saw it, I was like, perfect, this is it. I am happy because we could now record the journey. Initially, we had this bucket, the hand control. We moved to pedal. Now we are moving into sensor control. And I was amazed. Local content based all through. We had his prototype at UNDP, we installed it there. At least so we run a 1-week experiment to see its functionality, how consistent it is, what are the possible upgrade requests that are coming. So we had our guests and staff, the moment you enter into the building, you have to use the hand wash station. We collected the feedbacks that they gave us regarding the prototype, yeah? What we did after was provide Franklyn with the feedback and say, okay, these are the concerns, the pluses, and the possible areas for upgrade. Yeah? We provided that to him, and now I have seen, he had shared with me the video of the upgraded one. Harnessing this potential is one of the key reasons why the lab was formed. Yeah? You know, one untapped resource that was identified is local knowledge. Because these problems are within our communities. We know the problem. So it's easier for the solutions to come out of it. Because honestly, some of us have been solving the problems without major interference. Okay? For example, I'm in an area without power supply, and I just decided, okay, if I don't have power supply, how can I solve my problem? And for example, an innovator needs to study. Yeah? So it's okay. Put 2, 3, 4, 5 things together, and there's power. And at night, the innovator studies well. And that person has been in his location using it all this while, and we are still worried about how do we solve our energy problem. The answer is there. So what we are looking at is, okay, phase one is map out the landscape, yeah? Establish channels where this information can come to us. When we talk about mapping out the landscape, let us also not forget that we have the upstream and the downstream. So you map out the upstream. Who are the influencers? What are they doing? What are their different mandates? How can we connect to them? Yeah? The downstream is identifying the local innovators. Who is doing what? Yeah? Now, when we have that done, we have a database. Currently, it is about 150, between 150 and 160 different solutions that innovators have submitted. And interestingly, we have an innovator as far as this place, Falaba. We have an innovator. He called to register his solution. I think it's around power. Yeah. So when we map out these ones, then we align them to the different challenges that they speak to. Now, one of the little glitch that we observed is that the levels of our prototype isn't strong enough or safe enough to run experiments on. And now, when you talk about the end game is scaling these people up. That's the end game. But for you to be able to scale these people up, they need the skills. They need the skills to handle that level of responsibility. And so far, that area is a bit weak, yeah? So we're looking at setting up a structure or process that by the time they go through all of these processes, they are on their way to be entrepreneurs, yeah? And there's the journey. We have seen and identified experts that could take up, and interesting, the experts are local again, that could take them through this journey. And currently we have about 20 that will be undergoing incubation. By the time they finish that incubation, they should be ready for scaling. So scaling is the end game. And for us to scale, we have different alternatives. UNDP resources can be invested in scaling. But to be honest, UNDP resources will not be enough. So we are also looking at exploring the UN agency network, because each agency have their focus areas, and so yes, so we want to link them up with agencies and other development partners that we are familiar with. And also we are looking at engaging the private sector, and we're happy that AfriCell has so far shown a very high level of interest in investing in some of these high potential ones. So we have sent a couple of emails out. We are going to be meeting with a whole lot of private sector entities to put forward this case to say, okay, if we have something strong enough, we have a proof that its impact would be mind-blowing, can you put your money in it? Yeah. So those exchanges we are doing right now. Franklyn is right at the time. Yeah. He's one of the 20. He is one of the 20 right now, and he is going to go through the process alongside the others. You have just seen Franklyn. You should see the others. You are going to be amazed.
We've been working with families and trying to help them have access to income generating activities, so that while they are trying to work on the sustainability of the project, they can take their funds that were dedicated to food, health, or education for their children, redirect those funds into other aspects that will help the household while we concentrate on the children. You will see in some communities we partner with other NGOs, and often I am very provocative with these examples. It's not because you have a mother who is a prostitute that you have to separate the child from her. It's not because you have an alcoholic dad that you have to separate the child from him. And it's not because both parents have those type of issues that you need to break the families. You have NGOs out there, and you have companies and people who are highly skilled, who can work on those type of adults, right? And while they are concentrating on the adults, we focus on the children and we help the family stay together.
I'm looking at the glittering compound or the standards that have been set, basically that SOS have it all. I want to differ that that's not the case. SOS needs the support of both corporate institutions, individuals, governments, and maybe in-country donors to actually make the impact that way. We are not only looking at your sponsorship, we're looking at the love behind what you want to do. But let me just try to let our folks understand what type of sponsorship that we look at, or what are categories that we look at. I want to look at the institutional donors first, partnerships. These are donors that will help support most of our programs. For instance, the National Director spoke about the family strengthening that is key to our programs. And in terms of implementing family strengthening, we have to go into communities to strengthen those families who are at risk, so that we will not have issues of child neglect, child abandonment, street children. So in supporting those families, we have to write proposals that we'll send to donor institutions, partners, who can support those programs and keep it sustained. And the other side of sponsorship is what we can get to support the kids. Yes, we're getting support from international partners, especially SOS Germany, as has been mentioned, but we realize that we're in the days of donor fatigue. Speaking about IPD, that was called Institutional Partnership, where we're going for programs or projects, proposals that we write to support our programs. For example, the Family Strengthening Program, Living Youth Care Programs. These are programs that we want to have long-standing partnership with institutions, donor institutions, where we can write proposals which, they can support for SOS to implement these programs. We all know these programs are meant to support the children of Sierra Leone. For instance, my director spoke about the family strengthening program. We know when families are strengthening, or issues about child neglect, child abandonment, that brings children to SOS, to the village, will be curbed. So basically, to us, it's not about keeping children in the village. We want children to be in the communities. So if we cannot bring all the children in the village to support them until then we have to support those in the communities. That's one aspect of our fundraising or sponsorship drives that we ask for. There's another one which is corporate sponsorship, or which is institutional private donors who have corporate institutions, individuals. For instance, Mr. Moore, you can support a child, you can support a household, because our children live in houses of about 9-10 people per household, and we have like 15-16 houses which comprises of an SOS village. So you can support either a child, you can support a village, a house, or you can support a village. Interestingly, as minimum as 1 million leones, which is equivalent to like $100, you can sponsor a child for a whole year.
But I was reminding how this man started, and this is why it's interesting, and it echoes the reason why you invited me here to talk about Franklyn's story. He started this whole SOS business with $40 in his pocket. He didn't have a clue that 70 years later, 100 years later, we will be now sitting and talking about a federation that has grown with 136 countries and territories. The same way he started with $40, he hoped that his fellow Austrians and Germans also will support the cause.
Well, those were big inspiration. Even as we're watching and talking about our own young innovators, we're nursing here in our own sandbox. It's good to be able to see brilliant things that Black people like us were able to achieve in history past, inspiring our young people. Those are big heights and big targets that have been set for us. We have to push on every day to be able to make sure we do that. And now it's time to check up our own youngers innovators. A couple of weeks ago, we announced the launch of this youngers innovation pitch competition, and we said we were looking at young people between the age of 15 to 25 who'd done anything that is innovative that they wanted to share. We got over 20 entries. The 20 entries was shortlisted down to 12. And those winners were celebrated and announced. The 12 has now come down to 6. It's now come down to 6, and now it's time for us to announce the names of those 6. But before we do, we'd like to be able to share with you the criteria that we used to do the judging, of this competition. The first was market potential of the innovation. What's the size and what's the problem that this innovation hopes to solve? How many people and communities are affected by this overall problem was what we looked at. And the third point we looked at in that is, does the product have a market that is large enough for startup viability? That was the first thing. Second criteria, product feasibility. Point is the technology, the raw material, or the local technical expertise needed to power this innovation and this solution readily available. If it's not available, then your solution is not feasible. The third we looked at was the problem solution fit. You've identified the problem, you identified the solution. Is there any fit between the two? The points we asked were, do you believe that the innovator has demonstrated a rich understanding of the problem they want to solve? Big question. And secondly, we looked at how effective does the innovation's proposed solution appear to solve this problem. The next criteria number 4, was product differentiation. Wow factor. How was there any wow with this product? And he says, how creative and ingenious and different is this product from what already exists in the market? Because actually, if what you're bringing in is similar to something that's already there, it's huge competition that you'd have to face in the market. It has to be different from what already exists. And the fifth criteria, viability or scalability of the innovation. How many people and communities will ultimately be served and benefit from the innovator's proposed solution? And finally, it's a social and environmental impact. What is the likely number of jobs that this innovation will be able to create? It's a product or service. And how environmentally friendly is the product? And so, having considered the 12 shortlisted entries out of the 20 that we received, we're pleased to announce with drum rolls the following qualifying entries, the 6 for the next stage. Number 1, not in any particular order, Alfred Alimami Kamara, you've made it to the next round. Congratulations. Emmanuel A. Mansere, congratulations, you made it to the next round. The third to make it to the next round, Benson Kande. Congratulations, Benson. Number 4, Ibrahim P. Denke. Ibrahim, congratulations, you made it to the next round. And lovely, there's a lady here, Zainab Kagbo. Congratulations, Zainab, you made it to the next round. And finally, number 6, the last, not in any case the least, Peter George. Congratulations to all 6 of you having made it to the next level, the next round. If you see your name on the screen, please make time to come to our offices at 20B Old Railway Line Brookfields between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. and you have to come with your prototype. You already showed us what you did on the video, but we have to now see the physical prototype in our offices because the evaluation goes to another level. And we also have some gifts for you from our sponsors, so that's why you have to be able to visit our offices and pick up those gifts. Good luck and commiseration to the other 6 who did not make it to the next level. But keep innovating, keep working on yourself. Only 6 people could move to the next level. And if you don't stop, there's something great in you and you keep pushing, you will make it if you do not give up. Well, that's all we have for you on today's show. In case you missed any part of this show or you want to share this story with someone, please do not hesitate to check our YouTube page. It's Life by Design SLTV for this episode and many other inspiring stories there. You could also check us out on Facebook at Joe Abbas Bangura. Once you're there, don't forget to like our page on Facebook. And you can also join us every Sunday at 7 p.m. In the evening for Moments with Joe on AFRI Radio 105.3 FM. And it's also carried live on Facebook at Joe Abbas Bangura. Now for my parting words. One of the fundamental secrets to success is that success requires hard work. Success requires working hard. Success is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. A lot of the time, we don't want to put the effort that is needed. And this is something, if you have the secret to solving a problem, I have a similar secret, the same thing, we're working on the same thing. You're spending 40 hours a week, 9 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock you're off, and that's all you do. And if I spend 100 hours, 80 or 100 hours working on the same thing, what takes you a year to fix, I can fix it in 4 months. You may want to ask, why the hurry? Well, there's a lot that needs to be done. And the faster you could get there, if I can get to the market faster than you, I'll be able to use first mover's advantage and lock you out of the market. You want to be successful in life, one of the ingredients is to work very hard. As you work very hard to success, see you next week on another edition of the show. God bless.